This is a reliable little phone. But what is a phone? Your great-grandma may have asked. Well, to put it simply, a phone allows you to instantly communicate with any individual choice, as opposed to depending on a pigeon to unreliably deliver the news about Prince Harry's new book. Its most notable features are the camera, a 16-megapixel triple rear and a 12-megapixel front, just about sharp enough to record concrete evidence of my sister stealing my socks. A useful biometric feature that prevents my family from accessing my secret folders. A helpful virtual assistant that intentionally autocorrects my name from Bushra to Bushranger, which is an upgrade, I guess. This phone has a storage capacity that ranges from 128 to 512 gigabytes. You can add additional storage by using a micro SD card. Capped at 3,200 milliamperes, the phone is equipped with fast charging capabilities. It supports 5G connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, power sharing, screen share, torch, custom themes, and many more. The phone has a couple of my favorite apps pre-downloaded as well. For example, the calculator app is beneficial as it constantly reminds me that 5 times 5 is not 15. The calendar app reminds me of whenever I have business to attend to. Google Docs is privy to my most intimate thoughts. 2 minutes. That is how long you spent listening to me, an unhinged 20-year-old, pointlessly ramble on about how to use a phone. I did not invite my parents to this conference because they would have found this tutorial useful, and that defeats the point. Why though? What was the purpose of this? Let me explain. There were 2 interesting takeaways that came out of the short presentation. 1, in the first half, I adopted a more friendly approach, which seemed to have put all of you at ease. You were smiling, and I hope at the very least, laughing at me. I then switched to a more confident yet charismatic form of expression, and in turn, most of you reciprocated with focused looks. Ultimately, depending on how you present yourself, people will respond to your mannerisms accordingly. 2, although the tutorial itself wasn't particularly useful, both forms of presentation have one thing in common, which is confidence. Right, I think I'm too old to be presenting like that, but in any case, as you can see, my beloved mother insisted on contributing to my speech. I'm not sure why the seagull is flying diagonally either. I didn't know they could fly diagonally, but in any case, confidence, it's a game changer. A lot of the time in your day-to-day life, it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it. Is your body language expressive? Is there variation in the tone of your voice? What about eye contact? Susan Young's The Art of Body Language delves into this further, for any of you that are interested in the psychology behind it. Life is simultaneously weird yet wonderful. It's like our British weather. You're going to have some naturally sunny days, some neutral ones, and some glum ones. Similarly, the decisions you make will also have unpredictable outcomes, a gamble that not a lot of people are willing to take for choices with higher risks. Life is a game of heads and tails, but it's up to you to play it well. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, waiting in line to pay for your meal deal, when out of the corner of your eye, you see this gorgeous woman attentively doing her classwork. She has chocolate eyes, a tan complexion, rose gold glasses, and a gold nose ring. Now, if you haven't been able to picture her just yet, she's standing right in front of you. Now, there is a possibility that if you do approach this girl, she may throw coffee at you, snarl, throw a tantrum. Well, there's also a possibility that she will appreciate the courage and buy you a coffee instead. Have a good conversation. Most people are afraid of getting tailed. I myself was once afraid of this outcome. As a result, most people choose not to play the game for this very reason. And I'm calling this game the gamble of choice. But I digress. You should play at every reasonable opportunity you get. The most obvious reason why you should play is because the gamble of choice is a scam. It's biased. It's rigged, but in your favor. If someone approached you with positive intentions and a good attitude, would you think terribly of them? No. So hold yourself to that same standard as well. The overwhelming majority of people are nice and will reciprocate the energy. I promise. If our society was predominantly made up of Mrs. Trunchballs, we'd still be milking cows for a living. And even if you do land a tail scenario, whilst the person might be annoyed, the overwhelming majority will appreciate the respectful approach. Which leads nicely on to my next point. What if you do land a Mrs. Trunchbull scenario? How do you respond? It's unfortunate, but don't take the experience to heart. Instead, use it as an opportunity to build your mental fortitude and confidence. For example, last summer, I did a B2C sales internship. Now, for those of you who do not know what B2C is, it is when you knock on doors trying to sell services or blenders. I remember knocking on this door once, and this lovely gentleman opened it. With a bright expression on his face, he looked at me and goes, "I am not interested in joining your cult." I said, "Sir, I'm not here to recruit you. I have never been in a car accident. Thank you." I said, "Sir, I'm not here to sell insurance either. I am not interested in women. Thank you." Wow, how so very progressive of you to say, Grandpa Joe. Thank you for your time. Most of my rejections weren't as dramatic as Grandpa Joe's, but I never took them to heart. He had every right to say no. Similarly, the people that you are speaking to have every right to reject what you're telling them. And that's fine, just go on with your day. Everyone is far too focused on cringing at their own embarrassing moments from 12 years ago to even remember your name. Ultimately, taking the chance builds perseverance. For every no that you get in life, you're just a step closer to receiving a yes. As long as your attitude doesn't dampen throughout the process, you're almost guaranteed success in whatever you're trying to achieve. You should take the gamble because the game is absurdly easy to play. Let me explain. Simulation games like The Sims. Has anyone here heard of it before? Played it? Raise your hand. These games are incredibly unrealistic, but not in the literal sense, but in terms of how social interactions are constructed. For example, my screen time for Genshin Impact last week was 10 hours because I was farming friendship points. Trust me, real people are absurdly easier to bond with. Take it from me. The sleeping girl in the anime society, I woke up to say hi. I consider her my sister now. In regards to some of my other close friends, I teased three of them for their height, and one of them for being a fake South Asian, all on the first meet. I told the coffee shop person behind me that they looked perplexed, which served as the opening for an hour-long conversation on politics and psychology. Now, for legal reasons, the takeaway from this is not to bully people, I beg, but to illustrate that forming social bonds is easier than one may think. In the spirit of the queen herself, Ariana Grande, there's a lyric in her song 7 Rings that goes, "I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it." Just go for it. Friends will be made, perseverance will be built, a presence will be established within your network. You have everything to gain from playing the gamble of choice, irrespective of the outcome. So what happens when life chooses heads or tails for you? How do you respond? I'm calling this game the gamble of life, predicaments that are out of your control. I think at some point we've all struggled to find our voice in situations we've needed to the most. Perhaps a colleague took the credit for your work. A friend accused you of something you didn't do. A parent expressed an unpleasant opinion of you. Speak up. Show them your worth. Show them that you are not someone that can be walked all over. Now, you may be thinking, but Bushranger, that's easier said than done. And you're right, it is. Confidence is not something that can be built overnight. It takes consistency. It takes courage. It takes ambition to create the change within you. So, what are the small steps you can take to build your confidence? Smile. I'm serious. You're going to make eye contact with random strangers throughout the day, so just smile whenever this happens. Now, no need to flush your teeth or stare into the soul of this individual like most Asian parents. Keep it minimal and respectful. By doing this, you'll become more confident at establishing a presence amongst unknown individuals. Show kindness. Small gestures go a long way to make your day and theirs. For example, my go-to act of kindness is handing people the cardboard coffee sleeves I print. Because as a humanities student, I've got too much time on my hands. By doing this, not only are you taking the initiative to interact, but it also makes you feel good. However, I'd say the most accessible and effective way of internalizing your worth is through body language correction. Good posture, chin up, expressive hands, and clarity of voice go a long way. Eventually, you'll become more comfortable at expressing your personality to newer faces. I see peonies, daisies, and gardenias in this room. Buttercups, roses, and carnations that have yet to bloom. Every single one of you has what it takes to put your foot in that door and amp up the stakes. Are you ready to play life's game of heads and tails? If you believe in yourself, I am confident you will not fail. Thank you.